You're damaging your body before you even start your workout, and you think you're taking care of yourself. Pathetic. Every morning, every gym day, you repeat the same idiotic ritual you learned in school. Sit on the floor, stretch your legs, try to touch your toes, hold for 30 seconds, and think you're preparing your body for greatness. But here's the truth. No one dared tell you. You're shutting down your muscles exactly when you need them to fire up. It's like turning off the engine before accelerating. Congratulations, genius. My name is Iron Bull, and I'm not here to make you feel better about your mediocre choices. I'm here to wake you up from the comfortable illusion the fitness industry has sold your generation. And today, we're going to talk about the quietest and most destructive mistake you make: static stretching before your workout. Yes, that pretty routine you do because you always have. That Zen moment where you stretch your quadriceps, pull your arm, take a deep breath, and feel virtuous. Do you know what you're really doing? You're telling your nervous system it's time to relax. You're deactivating the explosive response of your muscles. You're literally making your body weaker, slower, and more vulnerable to injury. And all this with a satisfied little smile on your face. The science has been clear for decades, but you continue to ignore it. Studies show that static stretching before high-intensity activities reduces muscle strength by up to 15%. 15. That's not a margin of error, it's self-sabotage. It's like filling your car's tank with water and complaining that the engine won't start. Your muscles need to be ready to contract, explode, react. They need tension, functional elasticity, neural activation. What are you doing? You're stretching the fibers until they lose their ability to respond quickly. You're literally stretching the spring until it can't spring back with force. And then you wonder why you can't beat your personal record. Why that knee injury came back. Why you feel slow, heavy, weak. Let me paint a picture for you. You're at the gym. You put on your new sneakers, your fitness outfit that cost more than your weekly food allowance. Grab your caffeine-laden, promise-filled pre-workout. And then, because you're disciplined, you sit on the floor and the show begins. Static hamstring stretch. Hold for 30 seconds. Quadriceps stretch. Another 30. Calves, shoulders, lower back. You're there. Virtuoso, methodical, doing what everyone else does. And your body is whispering, "Dude, why are you shutting me down?" But you don't listen. You never listen. Because deep down, you don't want science, you want comfort. You want to repeat what's familiar, even if the familiar is destroying you. And here's the worst part. You probably learned this from someone who didn't know either. A physical education teacher from the 80s, an old-school trainer, a random YouTube video by an influencer with six-pack abs, but zero knowledge of physiology. The internet is full of good-looking people giving terrible advice, and you consume it all without questioning, without researching, without thinking. You just consume and replicate. It's the cycle of modern mediocrity. Wrong information disguised as wisdom, spread by people who confuse aesthetics with knowledge. Do you know what happens when you statically stretch a cold muscle? You temporarily increase the length of the muscle tendon unit, yes, but you also reduce the stiffness that is essential for efficient force transmission. Stiff muscles, in the right context, are explosive muscles. They are compressed springs waiting to release energy. When you overstretch before action, you are removing this stiffness, making force transmission less efficient. It's like trying to jump high on a mattress. Without a solid base, no response. Your body needs reactivity, not passivity. But you're still there, stretching, breathing, meditating before doing heavy squats. The level of self-sabotage is almost poetic. And it doesn't stop there. Excessive static stretching before training also compromises the stretch reflex, that automatic mechanism that protects your muscles from dangerous stretches. It's your body's safety system, and you're disabling it. It's like turning off the airbag before driving at high speed. You're increasing the risk of injury precisely when you should be preparing defenses. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Now, if you're feeling that pang of anger, that discomfort of realizing that maybe, just maybe, you've been doing everything wrong for years, good. That means there's still some awareness working inside you, and if you want to see how far down this rabbit hole goes, if you want to understand what the hell you should be doing instead of this self-destructive ritual, then leave your like now. Comment below which idiotic stretch you've been doing before your workout. Share this with that friend who spends 20 minutes stretching before running. Because the truth hurts, but ignorance kills. And I'd rather you feel pain now than regret later. Have you ever stopped to think why elite athletes do not sit on the floor stretching their legs before exploding onto the track? Why soccer players, sprinters, and MMA fighters do dynamic warm-ups, ballistic movements, and specific muscle activations? Because they know. They understand that performance isn't about feeling flexible. It's about being ready for war. And you? You're preparing for a nap. Here's the part that will fry your brain. Static stretching has its place. Yes, I know, plot twist. But it's not where you think. It's not before your workout. It's after. It's at the end of the day. It's when you want to relax your nervous system, improve range of motion over time, recover. But you've got it all reversed. You're using the right tool at the wrong time. It's like taking caffeine before bed and melatonin before an important meeting. Does it work? Of course not. And now comes the question you should be asking. If static stretching before training is a mistake, what the heck should I do? Ah, now you want to know. Now you're paying attention. Good. Because what comes next will completely change the way you prepare your body. It will transform your performance. It will protect you from injuries you didn't even know were coming. But before I give you the solution, I need you to understand one thing. You're seconds away from discovering what it really means to warm up your body for performance. And no, it's nothing like what you imagine. So you want to know what to do instead of that pathetic static stretching session you call a warm-up? Great, because the answer is so simple, you'll be angry at yourself for not figuring it out sooner. Dynamic warm-up, movement, activation, real preparation. It's not sitting and stretching, it's moving and activating. It's waking up the nervous system, increasing muscle temperature, preparing specific movement patterns that you'll use in your workout. It's simple, it's effective, and it's the exact opposite of what you've been doing. Let me explain it in a way that even a child could understand. Your body isn't a cold machine that needs to be stretched before it works. It's a living organism that needs to be warmed up through movement. When you do dynamic movements, leg swings, hip rotations, bodyweight squats, you're increasing blood flow, you're raising tissue temperature, you're activating neural pathways that connect the brain and muscles. You're literally switching on the system. And when you finish this 5 to 10 minute dynamic warm-up, your body is ready. Warmed up muscles, alert nervous system, lubricated joints, focused mind. You're in performance mode, not relaxation mode. Compare this to what you used to do. Static stretching, a cold body, muscles being forced to stretch without proper preparation. The nervous system receiving relaxation signals when it should be receiving activation signals. It's the difference between lighting a fire and throwing water on it. And how long have you been wasting water on your potential? Years? Decades? Since that teacher in school told you to touch your toes before the 400-meter race? Pathetic. Let's talk science again, because I know some of you need evidence to believe anything. Comparative studies show that dynamic warm-up not only preserves muscle strength, but also improves explosive performance, reaction time, and movement economy. Athletes who do dynamic warm-up jump higher, run faster, and lift more weight. It's not magic. It's basic physiology. It's understanding that movement prepares for movement. That muscles warmed up through action are muscles ready for action, but you were too busy being disciplined in your useless routine to question whether it actually worked. And what about injuries? Ah, that's where things get interesting. You think you were protecting yourself with those static stretches. You think you were being prudent. But studies show that static stretching before high-intensity activity doesn't significantly reduce the risk of injury. You know what does reduce it? Proper warm-up. Progressive strengthening, correct technique, adequate rest, decent nutrition, all the things you're probably ignoring while wasting time tapping your toes. Here's the protocol you should follow. And no, it's not complicated. It doesn't require special equipment. It costs nothing. It starts with 5 minutes of light movement, brisk walking, light jogging, stationary cycling, anything that raises your heart rate and starts warming up your body. Then, joint mobility, shoulder circles, hip rotations, trunk twists. You're lubricating the joints, preparing your range of motion. Then comes specific dynamic activation. If you're going to squat, do body weight squats. If you're going to run, do skipping, leg swings. If you're going to lift weights, do progressively loaded movements starting light. You're rehearsing the movement patterns you're going to use. You're telling your body, this is what we're going to do. Get ready. And at the end of those 10 minutes, you're ready. Really ready. Not fake ready. Compare this to your old ritual. 30 minutes sitting on the floor, stretching cold muscles, shutting down your nervous system, reducing strength, increasing vulnerability, and you still had the audacity to feel virtuous. It's almost funny. Almost. It would be funny if it weren't tragic. If it hadn't cost you gains, performance, time, maybe even some injuries that could have been avoided. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. But Iron Bull, I feel better when I stretch before training. Of course you do, because you've conditioned your brain to associate stretching with preparation. It's psychological, it's ritual, it's comfort. But feeling good isn't the same as being prepared. You might feel good lying on the couch eating pizza, but that doesn't mean you're optimizing your life. Do you feel the difference? Feeling isn't evidence. Comfort isn't performance. And here's the final part you need to understand. Static stretching has value, real value, but in the right context. After your workout, when you want to initiate recovery, relax your nervous system and work on flexibility over time. That's when you sit on the floor, stretch those muscles, and take a deep breath. You'll reap real benefits: improved range of motion, reduced muscle tension, and enhanced recovery. But before your workout, never. It's the wrong time for the right tool, and you need to be smart enough to know the difference. So here's your choice. You can keep doing what you've always done. You can ignore everything I've said. You can go back down to earth, touch your toes, feel disciplined and virtuous while sabotaging your own performance. Or you can wake up. You can implement real dynamic warm-up. You can prepare your body the way it was designed to be prepared. You can finally unlock the level of performance you should have reached years ago. The choice is yours. It always has been. But now you no longer have the excuse of ignorance. Now you know. And what you do with that knowledge defines who you really are. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to make you better. And better hurts. Better requires you to admit you were wrong. That you change. That you abandon comfortable habits in favor of real results. Most people don't have the courage for that. Most prefer to remain mediocre, surrounded by excuses and empty rituals. But you who have come this far, you who are still listening, maybe you are different. Maybe you have what it takes to break away from the herd and do what works, not what is popular. Your body is the only machine you'll have for your entire life. There are no upgrades. There's no new model next year. This is it. And every idiotic decision you make, every useless ritual you maintain, every truth you ignore is a nail in the coffin of your potential. So stop stretching yourself like that. Stop sabotaging your own greatness. Start moving. Start activating. Start preparing your body for war, not for a nap. Join the Iron Pack. Subscribe, comment, and prove you've got more drive than excuses. Because the herd is satisfied with mediocrity. But you were made for more.